Yo, what the f, YouTube? You already know what we're talking about, and that is the Atlas Athena. I'm going to give you guys a couple of my pros and cons. Probably won't go over a huge overview and get in depth to all the specs, mainly because I don't know any of them, other than it's a 4.6-inch barrel and it has an aluminum grip. Truthfully, I don't even know how to take it apart, so I'm absolutely dreading cleaning it. With that said, though, I kind of want to keep it pretty short, and I know viewer retention is tough, so to knock this out, and you won't have to go any further if you don't want to, honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend buying this gun. So we can talk about that at the end, but let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the pros, at least in my opinion. For me, almost number one, honestly, is reliability. I use pretty much all my guns in competition. That's what they were all bought for. So reliability to me is number one, because the last thing you want to do is be out there and you don't want to be having issues with your equipment. That is the absolute worst in my opinion. It's not fun. It honestly is a big damper on my day. It annoys me the most. So with the Athena here, I've had good reliability. I probably only have 1,500 rounds through it now. Shot a couple matches with it, and I had one. Honestly, I don't know if it was a light strike or it was me not being used to the trigger, and I don't know if I fully let it reset. I think I have a clip of it still, so I'll insert that. Like I said, I don't know truthfully if it was the gun or me. Another thing I like about this is it has the 4.6-inch barrel, which I like a little better than the 5-inch guns. I'm used to shooting the striker fire stuff that's a little, lighter and more snappy. I've shot a couple of the 5-inch barreled 2011s, and to me they feel sluggish. Like when I shoot this or like my 320, the slide cycles so fast, I don't even, I don't notice it or think about it. It just does its thing. The couple of 5-inch guns that I shot, I don't know if it was like recoil spring weight or whatever, how they were set up, but I could almost feel the whole slide cycling, which, I don't know, to me, it wasn't the worst, but I don't know, it was just a weird feeling. The fit and finish of this is what you would expect, being a super high-end gun. Obviously not the most high-end, but it's expensive, so it should be good. It's buttery smooth, the slide, which is, and honestly it's not even oiled, but slides buttery smooth, the trigger's good, the safeties are super positive. So yeah, fit and finish is good. My personal favorite thing about the Atlas stuff is the safeties. I have a problem when I shoot like normal 2011s to where the safeties are like pointed downwards, and on my support hand I have an issue. It's not subconscious. Actually, I have to think about on the draw getting my hand in the exact spot I want. So the meat of my hand is not, it's hard to see, but it's not bumping that safety. So the angle of these safeties is great. I don't notice that right off the draw. They're easy to hit, and then they're angled enough up to where they don't affect my support hand grip. So that's one of my favorite things about it. Not having the grip safety is awesome as well. I like the ergonomics, obviously, as most people do, but what I like about the Atlas stuff too is you have the option to change the grip panels. So like on my support hand side, I just run the stepped one just so I can get my palm behind it. And then on my right-handed side, my normal side, I have the full swell. So I really like that. I like that you can customize or semi-customize the grips to you, how you want them to fit your hand. So that's cool. The optic mounting system I heard is really good. I haven't had any issues with it. I just slapped this Hollow Sun on there, and it's been great. So everyone talks about that and how good it is. I mean, I only have 1,500 rounds through it, and some dry fire. The trigger's good. I'm not a huge snob on it, so it really, you know, truthfully, I know everyone raves about the 2011, 1911 triggers, but it's probably almost 2 pounds. Very little take up, breaks. It's good. Anyway, so that's enough talk about the good stuff. There is more pros, like I said. I mean, it's pretty accurate. Fit and finish is good. Slide to frame fit is good. All the blending is pretty good. Trigger's good. So not too many bad things to say about it. But with that said, let's get into those few minor gripes we have. Let's talk about the cons real fast. There is a couple of them. The first one isn't. I mean, obviously you know what you're getting. The manual safety to me is kind of it's whatever. I shouldn't say it's a con. It's not a huge deal. It's just one more step in the draw, but it's not crazy. So that's not necessarily my favorite. With that said, though, I got used to it almost immediately. I dry fired for half hour or so. Can still scoop draw with this thing and get the safety off, and it's good. So kind of a con, not really. Obviously, you know what you're getting into with that. My next con is the metal grips. I know everyone likes metal grips for the weight and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't. I don't really like the steel grip because it's overly heavy in my opinion. I like the weight of this. I meant to weigh it for you guys, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I don't know the exact weight, but I prefer this. It shoots so good. You don't need all that extra weight to soak up the recoil. What I was getting at with the metal grips, what I don't like about them, or aluminum, you can, although like I was talking about a pro, you can fit this one to your hand with the panels. There's more you can do with the plastic grips. You can take Dremels to them, files, sandpaper, silicon carbide. You can do it on this. Kind of scary because it's expensive. But like you could, if you wanted to, you could put some like compound on it or some of that JB Weld stuff or whatever you want to use to like build up your own swells and fit it to your hand even better. I didn't do that with this. The plastic grip I like better too because you can, you know, mine are all fit to my hand. So I Dremel them, put some silicon carbide and built palm swells on them to the exact fit of my hand, which I like. I don't know. And another thing for me, people think I'm crazy when I say this. Uh, the metal grip to me is like having leather seats. I know most people like leather seats in their car because you can, it's easy to clean and whatever. To me, leather seats is the worst of the worst. In the summer, it's hot, and then if you're in an area where you have winter, it's cold. So it's either there's no in between as to where like a cloth seat, you're kind of, it is what it is again. So that's what I compare this to, if that makes sense to you. So my next one isn't really a con. It's just I like to buy guns that serve a purpose. So like I have obviously a carry gun, PCC for competition. Most of my handguns are for competition. I try not to buy guns that don't serve an actual purpose. Otherwise, they tend to just sit in the safe and collect dust. So something like this, it serves a purpose. Like I bought this to shoot in limited optics. But with that said, for how much you pay for this, I don't necessarily know if it's worth it. Like this is a retail, like a $6,500 gun retail. Um, if like I said, I got mine used. I got mine at a pretty good deal, but I couldn't justify paying that for this because personally, I think like open guns are absolutely hideous, and I don't like the fact that you can't just go buy ammo off the shelf at like a Cabela's or Sportsman's or the local gun store. But it's almost like I rather buy an open gun because that's like top of the line. You know, I've shot a couple of them and they're almost cheating. It's not fair. So my point is like, do you really buy one of these for $6,500, or do you just, you know, you can get MPA, the Masterpiece Arms open guns for I think even cheaper than that, honestly. Again, you can't. You got to buy or reload. You know, you got to buy certain ammo or whatever. But I don't know. It's like, you know, it's weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Truthfully, it's just so. Let's get into the, you know, probably the biggest con, which is the price, which isn't a con for some people. I mean, if you have stupid money, then and you want one of these, go buy it for sure. If you're on a limited budget like most people and myself, buying something like this is, you know, you hit a point of diminishing returns. Like is this gun, you know, 11 or 12 times better than a Glock, or 4 times better than the 320 I normally shoot? I would say no. Like I said, you hit a point of diminishing returns. Like at a certain point, you know, you're not buying skill. Sure, the, you know, the extra weight and the easy, I don't know, not the easy, but the lighter and the crisp trigger, um, you know, you're not buying skill, you're more so you're hiding inefficiencies in, you know, your game. It's letting you get away with shitty fundamentals, I guess is what I'm saying. So talking about the price, you know, I don't recommend going out and buying like the cheapest gun because it's the cheapest. I don't want to throw PSA under the bus, but like I probably wouldn't buy a $400 PSA AR-15. But there's also stuff that, like I said, is 10 times cheaper than this. That's still like a premium product. You can buy a Shadow 2, you know, any of the Walther PDP stuff, whether it's the plastic or the steel frame. The 320s are good. I know most people don't are scared to shoot them now or whatever. Even the Glocks, like I said, you can get them so cheap, and they're, you know, the aftermarket support's great. Almost all gunsmiths can fix them. But yeah, so like I said, you're still getting a premium product at something that's 10 times less than the cost of this. So that's my point. Like I said, they're not, I wouldn't compare those. The cheaper stuff to this is not inferior quality, you know. Like you're paying for blending and the crazy machines Atlas use and stuff like that. So what I like to compare, another thing I compare this to is like buying, I don't know if you guys have Little Caesars around you, but like, you know, if you get a $5 hot and ready versus like a $20 Jets pizza, you know, whether that hot and ready is the best you've ever had or it's absolutely atrocious, you know, it was $5. So you know, you get, you know, it can't be bad is what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Like even if it's the worst hot and ready you've ever had, it was only $5. So you can't really complain, as opposed to like buying an expensive, like Jets or whatever your local pizzeria is that's similar or expensive like that. You buy a $20 pizza, like if it's good, it's great. If it sucks, you're extra pissed because you spent a premium and it wasn't there. You didn't get the value out of it, if that makes sense. So not that you don't get the value. I understand why these guns cost what they cost. This is not, I shoot this. This did not help my game at all, honestly. I did not bump up, you know, 10 or 10%. I didn't bump up any match percentage or any of that. Like shooting this was not, again, this does not buy you skills. It's hard to justify spending that kind of money unless you absolutely have it. The last thing for me personally that sucks about this gun is, I've talked about it before, but you know, I started shooting majors. I've gotten a little better locally. So I've ventured off to traveling for the sport of USPSA. And I don't feel comfortable personally, you know, buying a $400 plane ticket, paying a $300 match fee, and then showing up with one gun. So what sucks about that is not only do you have one expensive gun, you would want two expensive guns. So then you're really down bad at that point. Now you've spent a crazy amount of money, and for what you spend on these, you know, like it's insane. I know there's more maintenance to these guns. That's another thing. I'm sure most of you that are watching this understand that like this needs to be maintained more, than your average striker fire gun. You actually have to take this apart and clean it. You have to, and I'm sure you're supposed to maintain springs in the other guns. I don't know the life cycles, but my other guns got a ton of rounds on them now, and I don't even think about it. This, I'm more concerned. They're just more finicky in that aspect. So I have to cut this and move it back in there. All right, so to close this out, would I recommend buying this gun? Probably not. Like I said, I'm sure I've said this and you're sick of hearing it. This I wouldn't recommend it strictly based off the price. Um, if you really want this gun, and I did honestly, that's why I ended up with it. When I first started shooting, I thought the Atlas guns were the absolute sickest guns you could buy. Like I understand there's better 2011s, in the fact that they're like hand fit. There's custom gun makers out there building these, so they may be slightly better or what have you. This is the one I wanted. I thought it looked the best. I liked that there was no manual, or there's no grip safety. I like the actual grip, and I just like the aesthetic. So to me, this was like the sickest gun. So when I could finally get one of these, I bought one just because I wanted it. So if that's you, buy it. But again, let me reemphasize, I would not buy this thinking this is going to make you a better shooter, because honestly, it's probably going to make you worse, if anything. It's going to hide your inefficiencies and let you get away with shitty fundamentals. So with that said, super cool gun, very pricey. Whether you buy one is up to you. But I appreciate you watching. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. If you got any questions, definitely, I'll answer them. So talk to you guys later.